Hey guys, hoping all is well with everybody. In this video we're going to be continuing the stories of heroic dogs by Lou Jefferson, and today's story is going to be called Barry and the Monks. This story is a little lengthy, so I will be splitting it up into two videos, but as always I'll be showing you any pictures that we come across, but please feel free to follow along. Barry was a dog who lived with monks at an inn and monastery at a St. Bernard Pass in Switzerland. Barry was credited with saving at least 40 people lost or trapped by avalanches in the Alps. The monks. There was a long, approximately 50-mile route passing through the Alps that connected the valleys of Aosta, Italy, and Martigny, Switzerland. The pass was between Mount Blanc and Mount Rosa and was used by villagers, travelers, warring tribes, and armies through history. The pass saw some important historic characters, included Caesar. This was the route Napoleon took in 1800 to attack the Austrian army. Legend has it that he slid down the Italian side on the seat of his pants. The route was difficult and dangerous. Except for a few summer months, the pass was covered in snow 7 or 8 feet deep, with drifts 5 times higher. Steep mountains along the pass combined with massive snowfalls to create frequent avalanches, which often buried those trying to pass along the way. Then there were wolves, and maybe even worse, bandits lived in caves and waylaid travelers, robbing and killing them. Bernard of Menthon, sometimes called Bernard of Montjoie, had come from a wealthy family which had its roots in France but was in Geneva during Bernard's time. Bernard was supposed to marry but escaped his family to join the Augustine order in Aosta. Concerned by the dangers of the pass, he proposed that the Augustines build an inn, called a hospice, at a monastery for travelers' safety at the highest point of pass at 8,000 feet. This was established around 1050 and still exists today. Thought to be a holy man within the Alpine region, Bernard was canonized by Pope Innocent XI in 1681. Pope Pius XI confirmed him as the patron saint of mountain climbers in 1923. The dogs. It is thought that the first dogs at the monastery arrived in the mid-1600s. They were first there to protect the monks against wolves and bandits, and were the type of dog popular with the area's farmers. In the 1700s, servants from the hospice often took travelers down Martigny on the Swiss side of the Alps. About 1750, the servants began to take dogs with them when they guided people. The more they were with the dogs, the more they valued their talents, especially their sense of smell. If fogged in, the dogs could find their way back to the hospice. They could find people buried in avalanches many feet deep. And if several dogs led the servants, the dogs' wide chests and big feet could plow a path for them to follow. After some time, the monks started sending 2 or 3 dogs out together without a human to look for people lost on the pass. It became a routine for the dogs. They'd find the lost people, often digging through snow. Then they'd lick them into consciousness and guide them back to the hospice. If the person couldn't walk, one of the dogs would lie on top of him while the other dogs would go back to get help. Over more than 200 years, the dogs are accredited with saving 2,000 lives. The monks and servants never trained the dogs. They trained each other, with the puppies following the larger dogs. Barry, History and Legend. Barry was born in 1800. He was credited with saving at least 40 people on the pass and had become famous during his lifetime. While the hospice kept no records for individual dogs, most researchers believe that he did save that many people because he was so revered at the hospice. After Barry's death, they always named another of their dogs Barry. Much of what's known and written about Barry is pure fable. Some of the facts about Barry involve the brandy cask, the child on his back, and his death. The cask. Maybe the most famous non-truth about Barry and the other hospice dogs is that they carried casks around their necks filled with brandy or another alcoholic beverage to revive the fallen traveler. But the dogs never carried a cask or liquor. Some of the dogs may have carried small packs on their backs, but never a cask. When Barry died, his skin was preserved, stuffed, and put on display at the Museum of Natural History in Bern, Switzerland. The original model had a cask around his neck. Since then, some of the museum directors have taken the cask off, others keep it on. It's on now. The child on his back. Barry was said to have gone to find a boy trapped on an ice shelf. Barry's nose found the child, his tongue licked him to life, and his body lay on the boy to keep him warm. After waiting and no humans came to the rescue, Barry managed to get the child on his back and take him to safety at the hospice. This tale was told about other hospice dogs before Barry was even born. Despite this, it's often told as fact. While it can be believed that the dog could have guided a child back, putting him on his back and carrying him down the mountain isn't thought possible. The legend persists. Famous etchings of the deed have been published. The story is even written on a monument erected in 1900 honoring Barry in the famous dog cemetery in Paris, in the Cimetière des Chiens. And I think there's a picture of the cemetery. Barry's tragic death. It is said that when Barry went to rescue his 41st victim, he found an unconscious Swiss soldier. When the dog licked his face, the soldier came to and stabbed Barry in the side, thinking he was being attacked by a wolf. Barry, wounded, still managed to crawl back to the hospice and alert the monks to save the soldier. In fact, Barry worked on the mountain until 1812, when he was taken by a prior to live in Bernay. He died there in 1840. And I'm going to start part 1 there, but I hope you guys enjoyed the first part of Barry and the Monks, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we will be continuing part 2. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.